it is celebration on the side of the Panthers. Frustration, meanwhile, for the Blue Devils. Been all Pitt in this Saturday afternoon ACC duel. The Panthers with a 20-0 lead over Duke. Pitt, of course, coming in as the number 16 team in the country. A lot still to wrestle for them throughout the remaining portion of this season. Of course, a big one, as we talked about, Friday against North Carolina. And the Panthers looking to really start off the month of February on a good note here, taking on Duke. And so we head to the back half of our day here, starting at 165 with Jared Kessler for the Panthers, the redshirt sophomore, taking on Nick Tattini for Duke. And, of course, this is where the Blue Devils are without the aforementioned Aiden Wallace. He's been battling an illness really over the past few weeks. He had missed a couple duels, came back and got a win against number 23 Mac Church of Virginia Tech. Thought at that point, certainly Glenn Lanham hoped that Wallace would be back officially and good to go, but popped up again this week. And so Wallace does not make the trip here to Pittsburgh, and it's Tattini taking on Kessler.
Yeah, and you got to hope Wallace can get healthy in time for the ACC tournament, just to be able to give him an opportunity to wrestle in the postseason. But and I think this was a match, too, that Keith Gavin was hoping Wallace would be here. It would be a good test for Jared Kessler. He's, obviously he's wrestled well at times. I think he's one of those guys that we talked about with consistency. And, I think really just Kessler, he mentioned, is a very hard worker, somebody who is going to put the time in the room. But it's just a matter of, making sure that some of those things you kind of do in high school that you get away with, right, because you're just more talented, or you put in all that extra work in the off season that, in college you can't get away with, as far as some moves or different things that you kind of maybe cheat towards. And, that's something they're just working through with Kessler, right? Just making sure fundamentally he's doing everything the right way, and you're seeing it here so far, getting a couple of takedowns. But I think that's why he wanted to see him wrestle Wallace, to see if he can get some of those fundamentals, back to where he needs them to be.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Keith Gavin wanted to see how Kessler would approach that challenge of facing the ranked Aiden Wallace. And we spoke to Keith Gavin on Wednesday. At that point, fully seemed under the impression, that was Thursday, I should say, we spoke to Gavin, and he was fully under the impression that Kessler was going to be going up against Wallace. And so a late change here for Duke with Tattini, and now Kessler up 6-1 with that riding time, too.
Oh, we spoke to Glenn Lanham on Thursday, too, and he was fully expecting Wallace to be there. So right. I think he was, he thought he was, getting back into his groove, getting that big win last week, and now he's, back to full health, and obviously a setback occurs and unable to make this trip here to Pittsburgh. Nice 2-on-1 tilt here. Might get a couple of back points here. Only one count. Couple of one counts. Kessler can't get back points here in the first. He's able to get inside control, work that underhook, got him down to the mat and spin behind for Kessler in the opening period.
So Kessler does not get the ranked match that he thought he was getting today. Would have been against Wallace, but instead still an opportunity here against Tattini to assert himself and get a win. Looking for bonus points for the Panthers. Keith Gavin said Jared Kessler's effort has always been in the right spot. He's got a chance to really compete and make moves because of that, because his effort and desire has always been in line, and those are the things you can't teach. You can teach the technical stuff, of course, but sometimes he wills his way to a victory, and Gavin really respects the effort from Jared Kessler.
You just want to see him continue that, right? I mean, if he can get those fundamentals he talked about, he could be in those rankings.
Tattini in a tough spot here. Kessler stacking up back points.
Now he's got him in a
he gets
situation.
Kessler with the second period fall over Tattini of Duke, and a statement at 165 for the Panther sophomore.
Yeah, able to just really stack it up and put him in a position where he gets that headlock, and now once he's got that headlock, Tattini has no chance.
We go to 174 pounds for the Blue Devils.
So the Panthers now lead 26